I guess that's what we got for right now. I'm not an expert at YouTube Live, but there it is. Comments, top chat, live chat, cool. Hi, so good morning, Guam. Thank you very much for tuning in for the one guy. We'll give a couple more minutes for a few other people to kind of show up. I know everybody in the mountain is killing it right now, so probably not going to get the best viewership, but that's not a problem. Today and this morning we have a juggernaut for the RC community, in my opinion, Mr. Josh Thiede.
I appreciate the invite.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And yes, thank you very much for coming on with us. It's a pleasure. Hopefully we can have a couple other guys jump in, but like I said, everybody's kind of busy this morning, but that's okay. It's just me and you for it. So yeah, I guess a good introduction of who you are, what you represent, although people don't need it, when you're ready.
Yeah, no problem. My name is Josh Thiede. Harley is what most people have seen me as or know me by, however you want to say it. Came from old forum names, back in the day when RC forums were our main source of communication. And yeah, so that's how most people know. I've been doing the crawling side of RC since like 2004. That was when I dove in. Crawling wasn't mainstream at the time. There wasn't any parts available for a crawler or anything like that. So we were mainly making stuff work, whatever was available, Clodbusters and TXTs. You'd see an odd bruiser here or there, but yeah, that was kind of, and I dove into it back then when I was in college at the time, and I was in, going to college to be an engineer. So the engineering side and design of building of my own stuff was always what I enjoyed most about RC in general. So, and I continued on that side of things, and that turned into opportunities in the world of RC as far as, working in it. And I've stayed on that path, and I left my professional career of engineering in 2015 and went full-time RC since then. So yeah,
That's awesome.
Crazy world.
That is awesome. Yeah, I do telecom engineering or telecom planning and stuff. So we work with a lot of civil engineers and a lot of engineers in general. So it's a very good trait to have, and it's a very big leap to leave your day job and to put on something as and I'm pretty sure back in the day when you started, it was still foreign. It's still foreign for people to give up their life to commit to something online. So I mean, any fears, any doubts, any struggles?
I mean, so many, really. Being an engineer by trade is generally there's a lot of stereotypes that go along with engineers, and most of them are true. We're usually pretty calculated and safe, and like, well, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, and I'm not going to do. And so the opportunity to go into it and I joined Vanquish in 2015, and the opportunity to join there had existed for many years. I had talked to them constantly, and they're like, "You should come out, you should move out, you should do that." And I'm like, "Nah, I can't leave. Oh, this is a career. I'm in a career." And it just took a bad year or bad month or whatever to the politics of civil engineering life before I was just like, maybe I'll consider it. And I start, then once I finally made the decision, I had to, sell our home and decide to move 2,000 miles to the West Coast. It was a nerve-wracking experience. So
wow, that's good. I mean, engineers make a lot of money. Was the offer over at Vanquish sufficient? Was it good, or the struggle was kind of real while you're
there's a lot to it, right? Because I was a civil engineer for 10 years. I was in a stable career with a plan with that, and I needed to make sure everything was going to work properly for me. And then also the difference from moving from the Midwest. I was in Kansas City at the time, to move to California. That's a that's then a whole nother, you know, there's a lot that goes along with living on the West Coast. So, had to make it all make sense to do it. And yeah, it's
That's good. That's good. You're excited that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl there, or are
you,
you a
you know
49ers fan now? Or
no, well, I still identify with the Chiefs, and
yeah,
mainly because
yeah.
my wife Nicole is much more the sports fan than I am.
Got it. Got
I
it.
I'm
Got
pretty
it.
head down into automobiles and vehicles of whatever
Uh,
size or scale. So yeah, that's
no, no, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I don't like those 49ers. You know, you know how it is. But anything but the 49ers, we will root for. So yes, that's. I would not survive in California where you're at. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. That's
Man,
cool. Cool.
there's so many interstate rivalries here with the Niners and the Raiders and the Rams now,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
nuts. I've only been to one football game for the Seahawks, and it's an amazing experience here on Guam. Man, it's laid back, chill. There's not a lot of big stuff. We'll get a couple comedians come in. We got a lot of Hawaiian kind of entertainers and stuff like that that come in. Yeah, a bunch of rappers and stuff, but nothing too. We don't have like Luke Combs, or we don't have any Taylor Swift, or we don't. You know, what I mean, we want the superstars, but Guam is way too far uh, for uh, for I guess everybody to make it out. So,
Uh
but it is what it is. You're in California, man. That's where they stay, dude. That's
Yeah, it
crazy.
is. Now I'm in Sacramento, so
Okay.
they'll divert their way around here when they can.
Solid, solid. I guess next topic I have is biggest inspiration to getting into RC, where it all kind of started, how it grew.
Right. I guess a lot of it came like when I got into it, it was I was never into like the other sides of RC. I wanted to get into RC to do the crawling side. Like I don't know, that side of it always just interested me the most. And there wasn't much out there for it. So like inspiration stuff always came from TV fabricators in the time, would have been like the Jesse James and the
Dang.
Billy Lane and just whoever back Chip Foose and those guys, like seeing people that were
Yeah.
fabricating things like that type of thing was always the side that I was most appealing to me. And RC just appeals to me because of RC growing up or whatnot, and uh, it's a lot more feasible to build little cars than it is to always build
A freaking
you know
110 lowrider truck or whatever like that. Yeah.
right. I did motorcycles back in the day too, but even that, that was where the name came from. But when I'd moved out of from like growing up with my family, I grew up like I was living in an apartment, or I'm living here like building a motorcycle like in a like
In the
you
living
just
room.
don't. Yeah, like you're on a fourth floor with an elevator, you're not getting a soft tail up there, so
No
like
kidding. No
it's
kidding. Solid, solid. Yeah. So speaking to some of the older guys that were in it, man, they're making like windshield wipers and leaf springs out of. I'm sorry, they're making leaf springs out of windshield wipers, and
yeah
anything scale they could use, they would use. But the same story kind of exists with the older guys, with clodbusters
yeah
and axles and
back before when before scale was as popular as it is. We were making mainly more performance based crawlers, even though performance in the day is a little bit more, there's something to be said about that. But yeah, there wasn't chassis or anything like that. And the super common thing would be to go to Walmart and get a plastic cutting board, and you'd cut
yeah.
that up for either making a whole chassis out of because it was easy to work with, or using it for skid plates because it was like a plastic you could buy easily. We didn't have a lot of the benefits of ease of laser cutting, send cut send, where you can send a file and have parts affordably made and sent to us, or things like that. We were all just drills and our just hacking stuff out and whatever it took. Like, so yeah, we just had to make whatever we could work. And That was
Yeah,
that was the life.
that's crazy. And then with a lot of the 3D printing and all the, like you said, with the upgrade, increase of scale products, and man, you can get anything almost scale. There's from fuel cells down to butane cans. It's everything down to even
Yeah.
chassis and bodies and everything. I'm currently working on a 3D printed 90 Toyota truck, and 3D printing is just not my it's you're sanding and you're doing. My wrist hurts, my arms hurt, everything hurt. I prefer more of the Lexan side of the house. I do love to build scale, but we started as a basher group. I had a Traxxas Max. My brother-in-law had a HPI Savage XL Flux, B
Yep.
Revos, things like that, and just go into the mountain and send it. You know what I mean? Get off of the rock, and that's kind of where we started. And then I invested in a used crawler for I think $350 or $250, ready to run everything. It was a good deal, but yeah, it was nice and it's fascinating because you're going slow, and as a basher, you want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to do this number, you know what I mean? But
Right.
going
It
slow
doesn't
and
make
being more technical, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't make sense at first when you tell people about them. You get questions of how fast they go. Like, it's not really the point. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, my brother-in-law
yeah,
teases me till this day. He's like, "You're not into bashers anymore. You're kind of, what the hell is that? You're into crawling? That's slow." I'm like, "You don't understand the
yeah,
technique."
it's like
And
how satisfying it can be and all that. It is hard to explain.
yes,
Especially when it's basically all you do. So it takes a lot
that's
of
good.
explaining.
That's good. That's good. And so, of course, with you on the backing, when did your channel, or when did you see a lot more traction when it came towards being who you are today?
Sure, sure. So the channel was it was kind of weird. So back in the day, forum side, I did build threads was big, and it was just like kind of like now, like I would get trucks or parts or things like that sent to me then to do a build thread with or show what I was using to build. We were just photos and text,
Yeah.
push photo up text, and be tens and hundreds of pages of forum replies on a build thread, whatever it was. And then I had started working with Fataba in 2008. Um, and Fataba radios, for anyone who's had one, especially one of the more advanced ones, maybe can understand that they're not the easiest thing to understand the programming of initially. So it was easier for me to shoot a quick video and upload that to be able to show people how to program dual ESCs or three position or uh, whatever it was at the time, because there was a lot of steps. And I first done it with like photo, text, photo, menu, so it was just easier to do that. And I had initially done it on a channel that I had like shared with a buddy in college. And it was just because like it started, I was like, hey, I need to upload a video. Can I just, I was like, it was like I don't remember what it was even. There was like a burnout on my motorcycle. I was like, I need to upload this for something. So I was like, put it there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was just like, got to that point, and I was like, okay, well, I decided to start a new channel that was properly branded because I had like a Facebook page at the time, and I had this YouTube, but it was over here and it was under a channel called Bird Reynolds. And it didn't make any sense. So I I was just like, okay. And it was before you could change the name on YouTube. Like now you can have your URL and you can have the name display different.
Yeah,
Like Scale Builders Guild is like Scale Build, but it's I'm that guy is
yeah,
his
yeah,
is his
yeah.
URL, which is hard. So like I wanted all of my stuff to match everywhere.
Makes sense.
So I started a new channel, and then I like kind of decided to like focus on YouTube a little bit. And I was doing it all from my phone at the time, which
Yeah.
would have been around like maybe 2010 or 11, that
Okay.
time frame. And I was just like, okay, or yeah, around 2011. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start shooting some video more regularly of the trucks that I'm building, even if I've already had a thread of it, put it together, put it up. And it actually just started to go pretty, good. Like, like hitting 1,000 subscribers was a big deal. Like
Yeah.
the first 1,000 is the hardest.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just finally, getting to that and just learning, and it kept, it's just been a constant thing. It's by no means has my channel been like a an overnight success. There's people who've been doing
Yes,
it far shorter than me that are far larger than me. But
sure, sure.
I've always I've always only ever wanted, or I don't know, it's hard to say, but like I mainly just do what I want to do, not necessarily what I know would be best to do for bigger channel growth.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, yeah. And I mean, your channel it's diverse, man. It's got the scale, the news. Then you do the lives. I mean, and then you just put out videos, just to put out videos for reviews and things like that. It's dense, man. It's a very, very, very well built channel and program and schedule and everything. It's crazy. And the question I had behind that is where's the balance, or how do you, from all of that stuff you do, where's the balance with the wife? I don't know if you have kids, but with the kids or with the other hobbies, or going to the
yeah,
mall, Josh. Where's the
um, there there is very little balance. I'm bad at balance. Um, uh, Nicole, my wife,
yes?
is very understanding,
Uh,
very low maintenance,
got,
very.
got,
We do not have kids, so
okay, okay.
uh, that's that's a if you have kid, that's life first. There is
Yes.
no, you got to do that first, and uh, if that was the case for me, there was no way I'd be able to do what I'm doing in this way, because it's a ton of effort to do this, and obviously kids would have to come before any of that. And
Agreed.
I see my
Agreed.
friends and coworkers with kids, and I'm like, man, you look tired. Like, you got, that seems like a lot you got going on right now. I'm like I didn't wake up till 10 this morning, and then went and got coffee and
Yeah, 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 yeah. I was just straightening up the spot before we would come online, and my kids spilled something on the bottom of this table, and I'm doing it later. My LC80 is all covered with it, but hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that portion out. Kids are a blessing. They're beautiful. Yeah, but they're
we
also some of the hardest things you could do. So.
yeah, and we love our nieces and nephews, but yeah, that's that's less of our. Nicole is out of town right now, spending spring break with my nephew, so
Wow.
we it's
Cool.
it's good that we get to do that.
Cool, 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 man. That's awesome. And before we get into I really wanted to bring up the topics of that 3D printed cage thing, all the fab work that you do. But prior to that, I guess one of the bigger things is what drives you to keep going. What drives you to keep doing what you do? Is it the audience? Is it the money? Is it
Um, I mean, I always just want to build something. Uh, I don't necessarily care what it is. It's I whatever I always see something. I was like, I want to build. How many times I've stared at like my medicine cabinet in my bathroom. I'm like, man, I should 3D scan that and then like design an organizer for all. Like, it's
dope?
just every like it's just, it's like it doesn't matter. Whenever I look around, so this happens to be an avenue that I really really enjoy. I can kind of like it's kind of like that. There's all the full size trucks in the world I would love to build.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
This I can feasibly do uh,
Yes.
for a reasonable amount of cost with tools that I can pack into this small house, and
Nice.
I'm able to do what I want to do in a crazy little version of it. So
That's like, yeah, building. I think that's what grasps me from going from the basher side. I mean, you still build bashers and race cars or whatever like that, but
right,
the crawler stuff down to the scaled rim, the method rim, the you know what I mean, the freaking what kind of rims? It's nuts down to scale
yeah,
hardware, everything. It's I think that's what I focus a lot of my time on, and what Guam focuses a lot of their time on too, is just the detail that you can get into it. And here on Guam, there's a bunch of lowrider trucks. There's a bunch of high lift trucks. There's a bunch. That's the first love for the tomorrow boy is is getting yourself a lowrider truck or a 4x4 truck, and just, you know what I mean, doing what your daddy did, man. Do what your daddy
right.
did, and just send it and flex it and shine it and everything that exists. And so to take that, like you said, because not all of us have money or the power or the resources, and putting it into into an RC
Right.
is a lot more feasible. So yeah, that's cool. That's really really cool. What's the biggest accomplishment you have personally in the RC everything?
I mean, I'd probably say the YouTube side and all of that, like just being able to go to an event and just talk to a ton of people that have like seen the video or
No,
I stopped at the hobby shop before I left or before I came here to do this, and
cool.
ran into someone who was buying servos for a VS410 and talked to him for a minute because it's just like he's like, oh, I seen the video. It's like, oh, well, it. I don't know, that side of things. No matter where, you know, no matter what is it's like, I don't know. I really enjoy that part of
You're a freaking superstar, Josh. That's what
it.
you
Yeah,
are.
in a very small area of
you're a superstar, man. You awestruck people, man. That's
so
cool.
it's
That's
just
cool.
it's fun to just just to talk to people. I'm probably more introverted than would appear by the amount of video I put online.
Got it.
Uh,
Got
but like if it's talking about RCs, like I'll talk to anybody. I don't care at all. Like, but you put me at like just a random party, like I'm not gonna go talk to very many people. Like, nah.
it. Yeah. I get it. I get it. Yeah, man. That's cool. That's cool. There's not a lot of YouTube stars here on Guam. So I mean, I guess with us leading the channel and trying to spearhead a bunch of stuff, we're just trying to put Guam on the map, man. It's a very small island.
It's hard to
Got a
find
lot
on the
of
map. It's way down there. But,
and she's small. You probably can't even see the island unless you got some Google Earth and
yeah.
zooming in stuff. But yeah, Guam's about 30. I think it's 37 or 38 miles long by. I think it's like 14 or 15 miles wide or 17 miles wide or so. It's tiny. I don't even think it's a city in where you know what I mean. It's nowhere near. There's cities or
Oh yeah.
municipalities that are bigger, right, than Guam. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. It
yeah, yeah. You got any plans for traveling to islands and stuff like that, or not really?
like if I give Nicole a list of islands, as much as we'd love to hit them all, I don't know that Guam is the is, is
It's
on the
listed.
highest part,
Yeah,
but it's somewhere that I feel like we need to go at some point. Like
got it.
just that whole area is such a cool area. I mean, Guam has got just the size of it is kind of shocking. Just the amount that I don't know,
Yeah,
it's pretty rad.
yeah. There's I think we got 100 and something thousand, or is it 200 and something thousand people? You can go anywhere in about 45 minutes tops.
I
You're
can't
always at a beach. Yeah, and there's always family. So yeah,
I can't even get around Sacramento in 45 minutes. But
yeah, the traffic ain't that bad. I grew up a little bit in Washington for elementary, and Washington State is it's huge, it's massive. At least from
yeah,
growing up from an island, you know what I mean? It's freaking massive. It's cold, it's massive, it's kind of gloomy a little bit. You know, it's kind
yeah,
of there's no beach. You get a lake and some other
yeah.
stuff.
Like
There's no beach. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
how do you not get the beach? There's the ocean's right there. There's still just no beach. Like, there's rocks.
yep, that's a lot of cold ass water, man.
Yeah.
That we're putting our feet into like that. I'm sorry, reading some stuff from the chat. Mr. Matt Jermaine Borja said he's a big fan. I don't know if you can see that, Josh. If
Yep.
you decided to go to Japan and Hawaii, Guam is on the way. Yes,
Yeah.
Japan and Hawaii, Guam is on the way. Yep, it's hot, dude. It's hot. It's humid. There's only two seasons, and that would be rainy or extremely hot. That's what we got. There's none of this fall. There's no winter. There's none of that stuff,
Hey, I'm used to the humidity life. I came from the Midwest, so that
man. Nice,
100% humidity life is just how it goes, right?
nice. Sitting in the mall and you're sweating. Like, what the hell's wrong
Yeah.
with you?
Like I just got out of the shower. Why am I sweating?
Exactly. That's cool. So biggest accomplishment. Okay, hit me with the most embarrassing moment, maybe, or
Oh.
the most awkward moment that you had while you're in your RC career.
Um, there's been there's been like embarrassing and publicly maybe not as much, but like I was sitting at this bench before going, and I was trying to finish a truck, and I remember Nicole was mad at me for some reason. I did something that was, I'm sure, worth being mad at for. But I was just in here and I was tinkering around with this truck, and I just wired it up, and it had it was a VS 410, but with like TRX 4 axles under it that I was trying to just see the conversion of, and I uh, I was just tinkering, and I for some reason I was shirtless in here, which I don't know why, just not normally my style.
Sure,
But
sure, sure.
I had plugged a 4S battery into it, and it had like 2700 kV motor, a lot of motor, and I dropped the radio, and it fell
Oh,
just straight down. And when it fell, it just pinned the throttle, and it was pointed right at me, and it
nice.
hit me in the chest, and then it climbed up my chest, and it just, the front bumper was a steel UC Fab bumper, and it just throat punched me, and it just. I remember it hit, and I made like such a gurgling, and the truck flipped away, and I grabbed the radio and like didn't know what to do, and I couldn't hardly talk, and I couldn't go tell Nicole because she was mad, and she'd just be like, "Served you right," and I was like. Next day, I went to run it, and I still had like a sore throat. And I was like, oh. I was like, I feel like an idiot. Like this is a big, like I don't know how that. Like, chest hurt from getting hit in it, throat hurt, just it was just a head down moment. Like,
It's attack of the RC.
God,
You should have threw the RC away. Just throw it
no,
away.
I'm yeah. Just that was that was not a great day at that time.
Solid, solid. Thanks for sharing that, man. Let's dive a little bit deeper into builds and things like that.
Sure.
What's your go-to setup and platform and kind of things you do for? I mean, I don't want to say for competition, but
Right.
right, is it? Do you trail more? You trail more, or a lot more rock crawling, kind of, like the
Um.
extreme rock crawling?
Right. So the trail stuff, trail events, or just going out and doing a trail, things like that. That's probably more time than anything, just because when we go to a comp, it's you're driving for a pretty short period of time. But when I do go for like trail rides, that type of thing, it kind of depends, I guess, on what the event is. But generally, most of my trail rigs are VS 410 based. Uh, right now, the truck that is my if I someone was like, "Hey, we're gonna go on a trail right now. What are you grabbing?" It's my Fordyce, and it's uh brushless, got a Fusion Pro in it, 2300. So just on 3S, nice servo, some good wheels, some upgraded foams, a little bit of weight in the front. Uh, and beyond that, that's pretty much it. And that, other than, like I've removed the larger battery tray, and I just run a smaller, like 3600 pack on the side. Um, so it's a pretty basic Fordyce, just upgraded, and it's just, I know it's not gonna let me down in any
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
It's super capable for that type of truck, and it'll do just about anything any trail rig you would expect to do will do. And I'll huck it around like I have no worries. It's so that's like my go-to trail run. If we have like an event that's more like of a scale focused trail, but like it's more focused on that. Then I would probably choose something like my Porsche that I built for nationals. Um, it can trail ride just fine. Uh, it was built as a class one truck, so that would do just fine. Uh, I've got my Ripper that I run on at Axial Fest every year, but that's about the only time I drive it. Uh, and my VS410 Pro was always my go-to, but until I changed up to the Fordyce. But my VS410 Pro probably has the most miles of any truck I've got.
Nice, nice. Yeah, there's a couple of the newer guys, my parties. They would come and they're like, "Oh, Rick, I pick up a Axial, or I picked up a SSD or something like that," and then they'd be driving it for a while, and then the second that you that you drive a Vanquish. I don't know how to explain it, man. I'm not because you work there.
Right.
I don't. But there is something about driving a Vanquish. It's comfort, and bro, we're putting 3,800 kV Mamba X's on it, and we're zapping the hell out of it. Like we are
Right.
sending it as if it's a basher, and then stopping and going technical on the next line. And a lot of the lines that we have, they're it's trailing in between the next spot. There's
Sure.
lines that are it's very compressed. The place that we go to is very compressed. It's not too big. We don't do a lot of hiking and all that other good stuff for it, so it's a lot more compressed. But you need a lot of kV power, or I'm sorry, wheel speed power, to do what we do. So yeah, 3,800s on Mamba X's on a Vanquish, you are set for Guam. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you do.
My VS410 Pro's on a 3,100 kV on 4S with an RX4, and it rips, and
Yeah.
I've rock raced it, and then I'll trail with the exact same setup. Like I don't change it at all, and
Exactly.
just go. But yeah, I do love some wheel speed. I love that.
Yes.
I want to jump up a ledge, or shoot a big gap, like whatever. Like wheel
Yeah.
speed is where I'm tick. I've got lazy a little bit lately with some of these 2-in-1s, like the Fusion Pros. Like
Yeah.
I can just throw this in there. It's the motor and ESC. Wiring is done. But I do prefer some more KV at times.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it's I mean it's spoiled. It's spoiled for the Fusion, man. It's beautiful. The Fusion 2-in-1 started with the 18. They had the 18 and the 12. As far as I know, it had the 18 and the 12. And then now that Fusion is it a Pro or it's a
The Pro,
23
yeah.
or 24, right? That Pro is sick. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's right in the middle. So
I've the one I always wish that it had a little bit more punch. It's a little softer than like the other setups that I really like, but
yeah,
it's just a convenience factor for me at this point. Um,
completely agree.
and so I just kind of like it's fine, and it is super smooth. It's hard to beat it as far as
Yes.
that goes. So the trade offs here, and there's trade offs everywhere. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So a Phoenix, I mean a Fordyce, which is awesome. I have had the privilege of driving one. I have a VS410 Pro, all of them, everything Vanquish. You could trust it. The housings here, the plastic housings here, uh, they kind of go quick because when you zap it up something so steep, and then you know what I mean, you land wrong or you do whatever, and on top of that, you've got weight and all this other stuff.
right.
Yeah, you're gonna go back to the store to buy some plastic axles or try and upgrade to the metal ones. And are you responsible? Are you a part of the team or responsible for developing like the F10Ts or the honing in on any products and stuff that? Did you make the Fordyce? Did you input
Sure.
on the Fordyce? Did you?
Sure. So there's basically 4 of us that run VP, and there's 3 of us that are involved on the design side. So uh, I don't have to do much designing anymore.
Okay.
Uh, that's not my day to day. Just it doesn't leave a lot of time for that. But luckily, we all sit right in the same. We share an office basically.
Nice.
We have a big office, so we're all right there, and it's always just a matter of you know chiming in on it. So uh, none of the projects are really just none of us are ever real surprised about what's going on or where a project is. Like we see it every step, every
Yeah.
and Brandon and Jim do most of the design stuff. Jim does uh, a lot of design, and now it's a lot of it's based on backwards compatibility of like the uh, more of like the plastic stuff. So and that comes mainly from Brandon, and so Brandon's responsible for a ton. excuse me, a ton of that, and then Jim does the programming on the CNC side.
Wow.
And at the same time, there's things that Jim will design from on his own from scratch. I think he did pretty much most of the F10T on his own.
Dang.
So Chief is joining me a bunch today because Nicole is gone, and she is usually the one who entertains him.
Nice.
So
Man, what a
and you can't.
comfort. What
Yeah,
a comfort.
he's a pretty cat, but he's a pain in the butt. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and in regards to the products and stuff, is there specific inspirations that you guys are looking at? Is it?
Oh, for sure. Um,
Yeah,
you know, we're all automotive automotive enthusiasts, off road. And it's it all comes from full scale. So we flew down to King of the Hammers so we could go down and just
yeah,
look at everything there, talk to people, that type of thing. Like there's no better inspiration than what's actually getting done and trying to make a version of that in our world. And of course, we also have more flexibility in some ways than the full size world does, both with the construction methods. Like it's not real feasible to machine an axle housing out on a full
yeah.
size. So, but it can also be a little bit different on how things are fabricated still. So we have advantages and we have disadvantages at the same time. And yeah, we just want we we've got Instagram group chats that we're
Yeah.
sending things back. Like, you see this? Send it. And I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of it is off the wall, has nothing to do with that. And it's just ridiculous Instagram things. But you know, it's we have the threads that are supposed to be more like, hey, this is for ideas. Keep the ridiculous memes out of this one. But
Awesome. I don't know how much information you could release. The Ripper was is awesome. It's awesome. It's really expensive back in the day, in my opinion. It was very expensive back in the day. I believe when I was reading something, it was like a down payment, and then when it's done, the other half needs to be ready, or something, some sort of fashion of that, or whatever. But um, can you give away if there's going to be a fact of a Ripper 2?
oh,
Can you do something like that? You can't share shit. uh, I won't pry too much. I understand. I understand
oh, I get it every
what
day.
you're
I'm not worried. I can fight you off all day.
solid. Uh, from Guam, and from the rest of the world, get us the damn Ripper 2. John. Get us the Ripper 2. it's it would be an honor to get an original Ripper, because there's only so
Mhm.
much that exists. And I
Yeah.
think, if, in my opinion, if you were to do a Ripper 2, if it's in the talks, if it's whatever, if you were to do a Ripper 2, uh, I would say keep it at a similar price point so that not a lot of people can get it. But I would not
So
do this limited run thing. So yeah,
so with the original Ripper, the price of the original Ripper was 1899. Um,
jeez,
and it was the cage and body panels, links, some lights, stuff like that. But you needed to provide basically an SCX-10-2 donor.
yeah,
Um, so it was not a complete truck, and it was about 1899. But the way that it was priced was because we had already done it, and we were just there was we had produced it. We had produced 9 basically, um, and it was just because that was how many we could produce off the size of the material that we needed to get to make them. So we
awesome,
just made all the parts that size of material would make, because that's what we had. Um, and then people were like, we want them. So we're like, okay. So we decided that we were going to do it, and we thought we would sell, I don't know, like 30, something like that.
okay, okay,
So we priced it at that 1899. Um, but that's normally how we price a part, is that we take and we say, okay, this piece here, this is a brass knuckle weight for an F10 portal, right? We know the size of the material it takes. We know what size the blank of material takes. We can take and divide up how much the material itself costs.
yeah,
Then we know how much time it takes to do the first op and how much time it takes to do the second op,
yeah,
packaging, things like that. And the time that it takes to produce it is applied to an hourly rate, and
uh,
that's how the retail price comes out.
yeah.
If we would have done that same process with the Ripper, it would have been much more expensive.
No kidding.
So
Wow.
the
Okay.
price that it was put at was just like, let's just put it out for this. The handful of people that want it will buy it, and it'll be done. Um, so it would never be, it would never come out and be the same thing. It would, like, if we were going to make it as a product, it would not, end up like that at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we got our answer. We got our answer.
Yeah. I'm
Awesome.
just saying.
Yeah, and when I'm on like the Facebook groups and stuff like that, I'm looking at the rippers for sale, and I'm just like, geez, some of those things. I think the most I've seen is like a $7,000 ripper, and I'm
Um,
holy
yeah,
cow,
I think I've seen him up at north of 10 at this point.
jeez,
I think that they've
dang,
come back down, and I think most of them live around that $7,000 to $8,000 range, which is insanity.
that's nuts.
Insanity. So
I could buy a very well decent lowrider truck on Guam for
yeah,
7.2. You know what I mean? Like it's got aircon, it's got a radio. You know, like
I,
it's
I
it's legit.
I get it. I get it. I trust me. I'm not forking out that much cash either. Like so.
Kudos to you on that, man. That's awesome that you were a part of the design and the team and the work behind it. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's cool. Hi. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just have my daughter say hi. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. Bye bye. Can I see you? Bye.
Hello.
Sorry, they're about to head out. Give me 1 second. Let me just close this. Okay, love you. Bye. Okay, where was I at? So yeah, products on it. Let's catch up on the comments. How about that? Looking for sponsor. Good jazz. Yeah, I've seen over $10,000 for a ripper. If I could afford one, I would grab one. I think everybody would grab them, but we
Oh,
should have done it like when it first started, rather than now, because
you
it's
know, the
impossible.
in the comments of like you got to remember like everyone that we sold at that price, that
Yeah.
18. The price that they fetch now is that has nothing to do with us. That is market driven. That is we don't see any we don't see any sales tax back off those numbers. People say crazy stuff about it to us. We're like, we're not doing this. Like they're not on our side at this money. Like you
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, is there? Yes. So the Ripper Two. If the Ripper Two were to come out, which we probably got our answer already, that it's not going to come out. But hey, whatever. It's all good. It'll be a dream and a mission for anybody on Guam to even
yeah.
have one just in their hand and just give it back. You know what I mean? That's all we want to do is just can we take a selfie with it and then and kind of do it. Mr. Matt's song is beautiful. It's nice. It's nice, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome to be on camera with it. So that's cool.
Yeah, he did a great one.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit more haggard than Matt's, but I think everything that
It's
I
all
have
good.
is a little bit more haggard than I
It's
think I
all good.
drive mine a little different than Matt does.
Awesome, awesome. Is there a second place? I mean, because you work for Vanquish, you're a Vanquish.
Mhm.
You know what I mean. You're the guy. Is there a second brand or kind of second place brand or a brand that you also still use, cater,
Oh man.
support behind things like that?
Oh sure. I mean, as far as like, I mean, I have trucks from everyone. In the room here, I've got uh, well, that's a Tamiya. That's a Tamiya. That's the Traxxas sprint car thing.
Yeah.
I've got my Axial CJ there. That's my TRX6 above me.
Yeah.
Um, I've got my three wheel collection of RCs. Um, you know, I got a like a Capra based deluxe truck up there. Uh,
Hey,
I got a couple of bashers on the floor.
there
I
you
got
go.
a red cat hauler on the floor. Um, it's I mean I love RC trucks first. I've got the new little red cat here on the bench still.
Yes.
Um, I mean I love RC cars. Like that's what I
Yeah.
like that's just the thing. It's the Vanquish side of things. The reason I like the Vanquish stuff the most, sure it's my paycheck, but also like that I just get to make the one that I want. Like this is what
Yeah.
I want, therefore we make it, and then that's my favorite because it's the one I wanted. It's how I
Yeah.
wanted it. Like that, if we had to make something I didn't want, then sure, then that would no longer be my favorite truck. But it's yeah, so like if I get to have input on deciding what I would like to have, and then I get to have that, that's what I'm going to want. Beyond that, I've made so many things, trucks that I really enjoy. That CJ7 was fun to work on.
Yeah,
I've
yes.
got this ridiculous super heavy Traxxas TRX4 that's been, a,
I
a
saw that one. Yeah,
silly project. So yeah, it's you know, I
that's
can
cool.
have fun with anything. I've got those $50 WPL K trucks.
Yeah,
I got like
yeah,
four of them. I don't know
yeah,
why. I can see two of them here next to me. Like they're $50, but they can make you get two of those together. They're so fun. So
yeah, 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 yeah. Guys on Guam here are chopping that up to make lowrider trucks. They're using
oh
them to make
yeah,
lowrider trucks, right? They're
they're super rad.
they're the perfect platform for a lowrider truck. So it's awesome and it's easy and it's all done. I mean, you might need to get like a bigger axle or some hub extenders or something like that, but you're good. You're good from there. You don't need
Yeah,
to drift with
you
it or
know
whatever. So
the
that's awesome.
cost is I don't
Yeah,
how can you argue with them?
yeah. How can you argue with six? I think in the states it might be 55 or 35. I think here still on Guam it still sits at 60 to $70. But bro, you got a
Sure,
functioning RC that you could make a
yeah.
lowrider. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, it's not exactly made super well, but who cares?
True. Catching up on the chat. I've seen the $10,000 Ripper. Mr. Matt asking if we can see it, but completely up to you, Josh. If you would like to show your Ripper, up to you, my
Oh,
dude.
sure.
Yeah. There she is.
The so
There she is.
mine's got these are Cerakoted panels, that are like patinaed kind of in their own way,
Ooh.
but then they've also got plenty of actual rash on them. So, and then I did a bunch of carbon fiber work. It's carbon fiber rear inner fenders and front inner fenders, and the electronics trays and things like that are inside are all carbon, and it's I drive it about once a year. I drive it at Axial Fest every year, or just about every year. I don't know that I actually drove it at Axial Fest this last year.
Okay.
A lot of the events now, I don't end up actually driving a car at.
Oh,
So I I just go, like, I can go drive an RC car. I can make a day and go drive an RC car just about any time. Uh, but you don't get a lot of time necessarily to go talk to a few hundred people in a day. So it's like, maybe it's better that I just sit and at a booth or whatever and just go talk all
yeah,
day
yeah.
and have a good time with that. And I'll go drive a truck another time.
That's awesome.
So
Surprised your Ripper is not orange. That's still beautiful, man.
so
Beautiful.
it was orange at one time. I have my original panels still that are so my original set of panels had some orange graphics on them, and I kept the original panels on these had this detail machined into it, and the production versions did not have that. They're straight, and then this piece was a separate bolt-on part on the panel. But mine's different than like the production rippers, so it doesn't have a number of things are different. But when I wanted to like change up the look, I was just like, I want to take my old panels off and keep them, and then just use another set that I happened to have that or I had the ability to have, and it worked out. You know, my original hood is still it's got a good sized dent over here, and rock rash like crazy. It's just my front. Oh, this it's got a wild dent on the front there.
So is your Ripper a part of the count of Rippers that exist, or are you a separate set of
Um,
Rippers?
it would technically be a separate. We've always kind of
I
referred to them as like prototype 1 through 9. I think that
got
8 of the 9 survived.
okay.
I think that one of them was scrapped, uh,
Wow.
and 8 of them survived. And when we made those 9, we gave those all away. Uh,
What?
so yeah, so the first one is Jim's Ripper Machinist on Instagram, one of the founders of Vanquish. So he and I worked on that project for the most part from start to finish. So his is 1, mine's 2. Number 3 we gave to Casey Curry.
Okay.
Number 4 went to John Curry, one of the original owners of Curry Enterprises. Number 5 went to David Castillo at Wheel Pros, KMC Wheels. Or no, sorry, David was at Curry as well. And then, so that was 5. 6,
Yeah.
I believe, went to Taylor, who was the original owner of Rigid Lights.
Wow.
And then 7 went to Wheel Pros, KMC Wheel Pros.
Wow.
And then 8 ended up going to one of our employees who helps with the shop. And then I think 9 was scrapped. So,
no kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. That's sick. I would love to be number 8. Maybe I should work for Vanquish and just I'll just sweep the shop. Can I get a ripper, please? Can I just awesome. Good for him. Good for him or her. That's pretty sick, man. So recently you put out this 3D printed molding for the brazing or for the cages that you're doing. I didn't know. I didn't do any research on it. Is that something available for purchase? Is it something that's already on like Thingiverse or?
Right. So it's not at this point. It's something I've done, I think 4 or 5 times now,
Wow.
and I learned something a little bit more from it each time. And what I did an experiment here right before Pro Line by the Fire, so that would have been like August, September timeframe, where I had said on like a live stream, like, hey, I'm gonna get like 10 people, and I'm going to share with them all of my files while I build one of my trucks.
Wow.
For like all these bending templates and welding templates, the whole deal. And out of that, I think I let about 13 people in, and we started a private Discord server. That's where I shared the files. That's where I all chatted back and forth and shared progress along the whole thing. And it actually worked out really well. I would say out of that 13, I think there was probably at least 10 guys who ended up following through the whole process and building trucks that worked exactly like mine. And the cages, how it's designed, and then how all the other little parts that go along with it that I haven't necessarily always showed, like how that works. And then being able to, like, when they were building with that, I could send them the file for this detail, and everybody's was able to just bolt and drop in, and it worked out really well. So it's something that I think am going to do as a product, basically, where you could download it and build your own from it. And but I need to do it in a way that's complete enough. The problem is that how I do things is based on how I'm going to build it myself with the tools that I have.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I am I would, to anyone, my opinions have always been like, hey, buy tools, buy yourself tools. Like, trucks are awesome, but like, I'm TIG welding and stuff like that. And people are like, well, that's, you're talking super. And I'm like, I bet you have more in some of your trucks sitting there than it would ever cost you to buy a TIG welder. And
true.
You run it on a 110. Mine's plugged into the same outlet that runs my garage door opener. Like, I don't have. I am in a California house. It's not big. It's 1,000 square feet. Like, it ain't big. There's nothing fancy about this place.
Yeah.
So, but tools, man, it's like you can make your money back. You can build things yourself. You can save yourself money. You can make everything different if you just invest in tools. But at the same time, not everybody has done that or are willing to do that. So when I like, yeah, here's all the things that I use to make mine. They're like, well, cool. It's going to be super hard for me to do it with my tool set at the same time. So
yeah.
does it have to be for everybody? No. I hate. I'm not ever trying to be an exclusionist. Is that a word?
Got it. Got it.
But it's just like I'm typically doing it because I want to do it, and I'm just like, here's the things that I use. Now you can
Yes.
have them too. But
Yeah, yeah. It's very well built. It's very well built. Even of course, and with you zip tying and everything like that, how it has the slots and everything in and angles it correctly and all that stuff. It's awesome. It's awesome. And if it does become a product, um, definitely would be getting my hands on something like that.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just it helps me a lot because I can work in CAD as fast as or I can work in CAD way faster than I can fabricate.
wow.
So I can design up a cage in CAD, and as long as I'm designing it in a way that is still something that is able to be fabricated, um, I can keep changing it around and like staring at it and
Yeah,
be like, well, it doesn't look right. And it's way easier to change a tube in CAD than it is to change it in real life.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if I do all
yeah.
the work ahead of time, then the end product, I have figured out how to be able to more closely replicate it to what I had in CAD. And once I kind of figure that all out, it makes everything so much easier for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait if it becomes a thing. There's a lot of fab builders on island using brake tubes or solid rods and things like that, and they are amazing. Mr. JD from one of the RC groups called Quarantine Killers, Mr. Miles, Chino in the chat, Mr. Dwayne in the chat. A very, 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 very well scale builder, tube work, Tenti, my teammate, Mr. Tenti Rager. So those guys are all very well off. But I mean, they work on one to ones too. You know what I mean? That's where you learn
Right.
that stuff from is from one to ones, and it's perfect for us. I think it would be perfect for us beginner guys. I don't weld. I don't bend rod. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm looking at getting into brazing and bending and kind of all the tube work and stuff because I don't want to buy it from my partner. I don't want to buy it from eBay or Amazon and things like that.
Sure.
So yeah,
It's it's like I don't know, it's super satisfying to make something yourself.
yes,
It's you can have a lot of pride in your stuff when you built it. It doesn't matter if it's styrene or welding or even if you can design and 3D print your own thing. Like
yeah,
it means more to me when I can say that I did that.
yeah.
So, and I think that's something that is shared by many people, even if it's just a paint job, not just a paint
Yeah.
job. I'm not discounting painting because I can't do a paint job. Like I'm saying, like no matter what your medium is, if you when you do it yourself, it's it, it's that turn around and look at it as you walk away. Like I like it.
Yeah. I did that. I did that,
Yeah,
man. I
like
did
yeah,
that.
like
Yeah. And I think a lot of the guys here on Guam too are they do a lot of that stuff, and then they're waiting for the questions after. How did you get it to go in
right.
between, or how did you get it behind the dashboard? How did you get it? And it's just it's the work here on Guam is fascinating. If you have the chance to check out any of the Instagram profiles and stuff like that, it's great work, and it's with what we had. I think that's the beauty is that what sets Guam apart is, man, we are U.S. territory. We're tied into the U.S. and stuff. We got big shipping. We don't have a lot of fast Amazon to the door stuff. We don't, you know what I mean. We don't have a lot of those things. But that's not something to struggle about or worry about or complain about. You still got to use what you have, and I think that's how
Yeah,
Guam builds
and
is use what you
even
have.
a better reason to invest in the tooling and learning to be able to do things yourself because then with if you can get those things even if they're a little harder to get once you only had to get it once
Yeah.
so
Yep.
you know
Yep. Yeah.
but yeah
Another thing I was gonna bring up, like just like Mr. Dwayne, Mr. Chino 671, is the relationship that you have with Matt is amazing, bro. It's I'm jealous. It's a complete bromance and chronic. It's crazy. Talk to us, man. How did you meet Matt? How does it work? How did it
right
flow? How does it
I mean rumor has it that he asked for my autograph in Pennsylvania one year but that was how Nicole remembered it and I didn't 100% remember that but Nicole's never wrong so but the first time I remember meeting Matt was actually in Canada in 2015, I believe. I think. Or no, it would have been 2014 in Pennsylvania. That was the first time I met Matt. And then 2014, I met, or 15, I met him again in Canada. Nicole and I had gone up to a G6 event up there in northeast of Toronto. We had like made a trip out of it. We went to Niagara Falls first. Did that. We got engaged that time. Then the next day, that day, and then the next day, I'm like, all right, sweet. We got this RC event to go to now. So
you set her up. You
oh,
set her up.
she had been to many RC events, so she knew what she was in for from the get-go. But yeah, that, and then we went up to that G6 at the Warsaw Caverns up there, and hung out up there again. And I can't remember the next time after that for sure, but we started working together on a YouTube basis in 2017. He had reached out to me, and it was right around the time Axial had some super weird times, 2016, 2017, business wise. In 2017, things they kind of got stuff back in order. And all of a sudden, they were just like flooding us with SCX-10-2s to review. Like we got the Honcho, the Deadbolt, and the 2017 Jeep JK within like a month or two.
Wow.
Like, and it's hard to like, you can only do so much with an SCX-10-2. Like, so we had to do review, and he had messaged me. He's like, "Hey, you want to like collaborate or something on a video?" And we were channels of similar size. And I was like, well, I'm going to do this Honcho budget build because I've done these budget build offs many times in the past. And I'm just going to do it again with this one. And he's like, okay. And so we started doing the $50 a week Honcho build. Yeah. And that was the first time we collaborated together. And then shortly after that, we did the first monthly Mayhem with the Deadbolt version of that they gave us. And then, yeah, we just we did other budget builds after that, the TRX4, SCX-24, what did we do? The 4-dice one. I can't remember if there was more, but yeah. And then, we started the lives in 2020 during the shutdowns and all that. Like, let's do this. Let's do a live show or something. Let's just talk. We're 209 episodes, 208 episodes done of that. 209 is Wednesday. It'll be the start of the 5th year.
Nice.
So,
nice,
yeah.
Man. That's cool. Yeah, you and Matt's relationship is sick, bro. It's awesome. It's cool. You guys play off each other well. It's entertainment and it's bromance at its finest, man. I don't care what anybody says. It's cool. And if only I had a party that would come on live and stuff, maybe we could just do some radical stuff like you guys do. But
right,
kind of just me and the boys. So yeah.
Yeah, it's I've met some of my best friends in RC. Lifelong friends. And some don't even RC anymore, and we just text or chat or whatever it is. Like, you find your people in whatever community you belong to, whatever it may be. But RC I've found great people in, and Nicole doesn't she has no interest in RC cars. But she goes to every one of the RC events with me. She enjoys the people. Everyone's always nice, or she can find the group of people. You can run into people at RC events just like anywhere that are unpleasant to be around, but the vast majority are not those. They're great people. They're so she enjoys it, and that's great. She supports me. She is happy and enjoys being there as well. So this says something about the community.
Yeah, I completely agree. A lot of the friends that I've made in the past, I've been doing it for about 5 years, I would say. Still younger in it, but for about 5 years. Yeah, lifelong friends. A lot of cousins, a lot of family, like I said here on Guam, but a lot of people that in high school or in middle school, these are the opposite guys. You know what I mean? These are the other guys, but they are awesome at RC and very friendly when it comes to the mountain and stuff. And so yeah, that part is cool. Are you guys able to make some licensed bodies? That was a question from one of the
Sure.
guys, from Mr. Matt. Yeah.
So the option is there, yes. We haven't done any licensed bodies yet. Licensing is an interesting world for people who've never really heard much about it in RC, and it can happen in a lot of different ways. But typically, for like a licensed body, for example, how it works is you never deal with you don't deal with Ford if you're going to make a Bronco.
Okay.
That's Ford contracts their licensing to a company that handles licensing.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
then
that.
you deal with a company like that, and they negotiate whatever that fee is going to be. Like you're going to pay us 13% of every sale for the license of it. Now, in the past, when we sold, say we would have put a licensed body on an Ultra,
Yeah.
at $900,
Yeah.
13% or 10%, whatever you want to say the number theoretically could be,
Yeah.
is $90.
Yeah.
So that cost has to be factored in from the get-go. So now that truck is never $900, it's $1,000.
$1,000. Yep.
Because we still have to give them that 10%. So now instead of $90, it's $100 to get us back to that 900 it needed to be in the first place, because that was the cost. We've continuously worked to make the trucks more affordable. You know, the Ford Ice now is $459.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. Sorry, I had a phone call from me. Did I freeze?
Josh, I don't think we can see you anymore. Is it just me, guys? Can you guys comment down below? I can't see you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Please share it. It's an awesome event. And if you guys have questions down below, aside from, Matt, thanks for tuning in. Dwayne, of course, thanks. Keep asking away questions. Thanks, guys. You guys are badass. Sorry, I don't know where to go from here. Oh, there we go. He's coming back in, guys. Add. Stop moving. Stop moving. There you go. I can see you. We're good.
Didn't want to let me do anything. So
all good.
Anyway, but yeah, anyway, so like I was saying, we've been trying to get products down into an area that becomes more reasonable, more for so in the future, it's always something that we'll continue. So I don't know if you can. Did I freeze again?
You froze and then still back to the black screen on my side.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna have to do this again.
No worries. Guys, this is awesome. Added. Here he comes again. Come on. There we
go. Anyway, so yeah, sorry. Long story, not so long.
Yeah, licensing for it. That's cool. Yeah, the body, the Ford Ice body, has more, in my opinion, more of a Jeep feel. The one before the Ford Ice is called the Phoenix.
The Phoenix, yeah.
The Phoenix body has more of that Land Cruiser kind of FJ kind of feel to it, in my opinion, that portion of it. Where does the Vanquish original body come from? I thought it was the Stout. Is it called a Stout?
Yeah.
Right?
Scout.
Yeah.
It was kind of Scout 800-esque. So it was one of my favorites. I own it, or I still own kind of a Scout back in the Midwest. I never drug it out here, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
Scout, a Scout. I had to look it up. I think I took a picture of a Vanquish and then I put it on Google, that Google picture thing, and I was like, oh
yeah,
shoot, that looks like a Scout, or a Scout or something like
yeah.
that, which
So
I never knew was even a truck or a car
yeah,
or whatever.
the Scout 800 was not super common. The early Broncos definitely overshadowed them. The
Yeah.
Scout 2 came later, which I do not like. And everyone will be like, send a photo, like they'll send me something like, oh, look at this build. It's like a Vanquish. I'm like, that's a Scout 2. How dare you? So
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, a Scout. At least here on Guam, we don't we run into more of like a Toyota Stout or a Toyota
sure.
Hilux, or stuff like that. So, and we are hoping to get, in my opinion, I think that in Guam, or I'll speak for myself. RC4 Wheel Drive is an awesome company, an awesome producer of bodies. So is Tamiya, producer of bodies and stuff. But man, we, I would like to see a change up. I would like to see a change up in a different body. I'm not a Nissan guy. I'm a Toyota guy to the death of me. But a nice Nissan hard body, or we call it a hard body, or what
Right.
year is it? Right, a hard body or something like that
Yep.
would be awesome. Something Nissan. They came out with the Nissan Lexan version of it, but man, let's pump some stuff into the hard body. The Lexan one is kind of big.
It's
It's
an
kind of
yeah.
awkward a little bit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Proline came out with that Nissan hard body, which
Yeah.
is of course, there's a bit confusing to people
Yeah.
because it was like, oh, it's a hard this is Lex.
Exactly. Oh, so you guys call them hard bodies too? You guys call them
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
bodies too? Oh, okay, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so a Nissan hard body. Yeah, yeah. I thought
Yep.
that was just a Guam thing. Cool. So yeah,
Nope.
Nissan hard body. Yeah, the Datsuns, or the Datsuns and the NAPZ portion is the older ones. Those would be cool to come out. I know Team Associated came out with the on road looking
Right.
Datsun one. That was awesome. That was pretty
Yep.
cool. So, but yeah, if there's any say that Guam could have in any sort of vanquish dream of licensing something, man, a Toyota 90 pickup,
Yeah.
would be
I think we're
phenomenal.
actually working on our next one's actually going to be a Subaru Baja. The
Nice. Nice. Do it.
I think it's a real untapped market.
Yeah. But yeah, if there was any wish or thing I could say to the RC community, not just the Vanquish or whoever like that, man, change up the damn bodies already. Change up the bodies. Stop giving us the 79s, the 80s, and hit us with some new stuff on some Datsuns or 90
Right.
pickups
The,
or stuff like
I think that the difference between like sometimes because it's licensed, or if people want like actual licensed versions, um, sometimes it's just the ability to be able to do it, like allowed to do it. Like
that. Okay.
if they don't want you to make it and you're trying to do it licensed, and so you remember RC Drive released a truck called the Cross Country, Cross Canyon, something like that, and
Okay.
it was a Jeep, hard body Jeep,
Okay.
um, and it was on the market for like a month, 2 months maybe,
Wow.
and then it got pulled, and it was on a new platform, new chassis with new axles, the whole
Yeah.
deal. Cross country, yes, thank you, Maddie. And it it lasted a very short time, and because they tried to get it licensed with Jeep, and Jeep was not, they didn't approve of it. So then they tried to just like put a grill cover on it
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and get it through, and it didn't work. And it pulled it, and then the whole thing just disappeared. And that's a couple of years ago now. And like, but like I said, the platform with the chassis and the axles and everything was new. So like those things existed somewhere,
Yeah.
and now they're just not. So
Yeah. I gotta look that up. I've never heard of a
yeah,
of a cross country.
it was
Wow.
a that you'll if you look it up, you might be able to find photos of it. You'll definitely be able to find some videos of it. Matt did a video of it,
Okay.
and it was a blue Jeep esque body.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay.
um, but yeah, interesting
Nice.
little thing. If you reach back and look at it, you'll find it.
But yeah, that's at least what I think a lot of us could agree on as change up the bodies. Is there a message that you would put out for the RC community, and in regards to anything you're seeing bad, any things you'd like to see improve, anything.
Um, oh, man, just try and learn something new. Like try and learn something. Well, learn a skill. Learn,
Yeah,
painting or fabricating or, you know, buy tools and learn a skill.
yeah,
And it'll help you in RC, it'll help you in everywhere. Like tools, man. Tools are the thing. It
yeah.
doesn't matter what you're doing.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. What is going back to the builds? What's your best build? The one you are most proud of? Is it the Ripper?
Um,
Is it?
it'd probably be that Porsche that I built.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
it, you know, uh, it's dusty. It was the first time I ever tried to build a body. Um, so, like, I designed the body in CAD. I made
Dang.
molds for it so I could mold it out of carbon fiber. Uh, I had to design and then create a buck to vacuum form my own windshield. Uh, I did it's got a titanium cage. I designed a crazy motor for it that sits back there underneath. There's turbos and everything, and the designed a whole interior, and the struggles of trying to make sure I could put steering in it because the servo sits back here at the in front of the seat,
Holy
um,
smokes!
and then it runs everything about it was a custom truck in almost every way. So I used a VFD transmission and F10 axles. Oh, now we lost him.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
So,
Awesome. I'm
uh,
back. I'm back.
yep. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the most custom truck I've ever built. Like the most, everything on it had to come from somewhere that basically it wasn't meant for.
Sick, sick. Do you support or bring in stuff other than Vanquish stuff? Do you have a set of Enduro rims? Do you have a set of what I mean, eBay axles? Have you ever tried product testing on those things, or
Um,
used them
I
for
mean,
builds?
I mean, I have or had a set of just about all of it. Like I buy a lot of trucks and things like that. Of
Yeah,
course, I don't like support the Endura stuff. Most of that stuff is
okay,
just like a copy of our design.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely, yeah,
it's just taking money away from those of us that did that
the
created
work,
that side of the market, and just to you know to profit off it. Uh,
yeah,
you know, doing more of I'm competing a lot more in the SCX24 world lately, so we don't make anything there. So I buy what I can find is best.
yeah,
Um, but I've got, I mean, if we make it and I feel ours is better, then I'm always going to use that. Um,
agree,
if I'm going to take and invest a day of my time into something, I want to make sure that I have the best chance of having the best time to the best of
yes,
my ability. And that means if
yes,
whatever it may be, I'm going to try and do that the best I can.
awesome,
So I'm going to use the best stuff I can whenever I can.
awesome. That's cool. Good for you guys, man. That's good. These Vanquish method rims and that Vanquish screw, yeah, it gets me every time. The screw on the bead lock on the ring. So it looks like a 1.5 or it looks like a 2.0, and then you got to get a Vanquish tool, and you're like, damn, you know what I mean? Damn it! And so here I am digging in my dad's drawer for a freaking Allen key. You know what I mean? Because I should have bought the damn Vanquish tool at the store instead of trying to dig for some Allen keys and stuff. But things like that, in my opinion, they make you guys unique. You guys are making your own stuff on your own tools on your
Right.
own platform, and so man, everybody
And
else.
there was reasons behind all that stuff when we did, the those screws are a 164 screw, and that's because that is the exact size that scale. Like we got the models for the wheels from KMC or Method, whoever it is, and like
Yeah.
if you scale down the hardware to match the same scale that they have, that is the size screw it needs. So like the M2 in like the knockoff styles, like
Yeah.
it's too large. Like you can see it from afar, like, oh, I can tell that that's a knockoff wheel because it's got the wrong size hardware.
Yes. Yes.
The 440 screws in the center, that was something that had started a long time ago, and that was just because it was a stronger thread engagement into the hub and gave us a little bit more of an advantage on size. So it allowed for a little bit better detail, and just
Yeah.
all of those things came from somewhere. And yeah, in the hobby world, it is a less common thing, but
But hey, you
yeah,
guys produced it.
you
That's
buy the
awesome.
tool once,
Yeah.
buy the tools. You need tools.
This is true. I'll take your advice on the tool situation. Uh, the wheels or the tires. I'm sorry, not the wheels. The tires that came off of. Give me a second. Come on, baby. Get up here. The tires that came off of the Phoenix or the Fordyce or
Yep.
these things are disgusting. There is something about it on Guam terrain. On top of it, it's scale. It's a freaking Falcon tire.
Right.
You know what I mean? But from the tread pattern, the thickness of the rubber, the feel of the rubber, the foams, we are going nuts, or we were going nuts a couple months ago about the Vanquish dual stage foams. Right, the two stage foams.
Right.
We're going nuts about it, and then on top of that, when you buy a ready to run vehicle, 99.9% of the time, exactly 99.9% of the time, the tires are the first thing that you have to change. They're the first thing because they're not good. In my personal opinion, the Vanquish VS410 tires, I didn't like them. I didn't dig them.
Oh
They
no,
were a little
the
bit too
original
hard.
VXTs we learned from. It was our first tire,
Yeah,
and we learned from it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, those are gone now. The
yeah,
last of them
yeah,
have left. They don't exist anymore. But
yeah,
um,
yeah.
and then yeah,
These are, yeah. Go ahead. I'm
oftentimes you
sorry.
find that an RTR will come. Uh, so like an RTR will come with a tire, but if you bought that tire aftermarket, it would be a better version of it.
Yeah.
Because generally how that works is that on RTRs they will take and they will spec a less expensive rubber material,
Okay.
and rubber is very expensive to get, and so you can run uh, a blend that is much less expensive. It doesn't perform as well, and you put that on an RTR and you save a
Got it.
bunch of money.
Got
Um,
it.
and that's part of saving money on kits and things like that. We have only a handful of tires, and we never wanted to run a lesser grade material on one of them,
Yeah.
just because we also work with these partners now, Falcon and Yokohama, and we don't ever want to put out a tire that doesn't work real well, and then they're just
Got it.
like, why do you
But they
make
have.
ours not as
Yeah.
good? Like,
Yeah.
so we're still trying to do our best by everybody at this point. And so yeah, the tires that come on the RTRs are the same that you buy aftermarket, and they're a sticky, nasty tire, and they'll
Dope, dude.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
dope, bro. They're dope. They're dope. They're good. They're perfect. Uh, how do you feel about, and if it's true, Super Swamper, the smaller sets, the 419s or the 43s, discontinued? I believe, or at least what we're seeing on the internet is that it's discontinued. Is that, do you use Super Swamper? Do you, um,
That makes me happy to hear, because I've been a lifelong hater of super swampers.
oh, okay, okay,
So
okay.
it's because
Yeah.
where I grew up in the Midwest, and
Uh-huh.
every redneck I grew up on wanted big old super swampers underneath their
Hell
lifted,
yeah.
and I never liked them. So now I know in RC they actually work really well, but I just refuse to use them.
You know, I was a hater, just like you. I was like, dude, that's an ugly ass tire. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like, and I had stacks of them, Josh, stacks, bro, stacks of them. My whole wall was filled with them, and I would just give them away when I would sell a used a deal or whatever, like getting rid of stuff. Put the damn super swampers on and send it. Like I don't like them. Now everybody on Guam for the 4.3s or the 419s are going absolutely bonkers about it. They want him. There's a couple guys, our teammates that are in going to be in Japan or Korea or whatever, and we're like sending money for them to bring back tires because it's killing it right now. My personal favorite tire is the Baja Pro X's. The Baja Pro X's at a Pro Line
For the Pro Line ones, gotcha.
for the Pro Line one. Yeah, the Baja Pro X's for the Pro Line. The RC four-wheel drive ones, in my opinion, were just I didn't dig them. I don't know if I was using them correctly. I don't know if I was.
They've never had RC four-wheel drive tires have never had the compound that Pro Line has.
Yeah.
The Pro Line ones do look good though.
Yeah.
The J Concept Tusk is similar to, I believe.
Yeah.
And the Tusks are a solid tire.
Is this the Tusk? Is this the Tusk? I think.
No, that's a Rupture. Yeah.
Yeah, Rupture. I don't think I have Tusks. I think, what are these? Oh, these are landmines.
Those are landmines.
Yeah. But yes, Tusk is the tread pattern is a lot more dotted. It's a lot more like it's not as bold as these. Looks like this. It's more compressed.
No, the Tusk looks more like the Baja Pro X.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are my favorite tire. In my opinion, here on Guam, they do a lot better on rock rather than on the ground that we're doing. I think it's I don't know what it is. Because you would think on soft dirt or kind of sandier dirt that we got here, that the tread pattern would grip and do some stuff to it, but it really doesn't. It needs a harder rock to to grip and to move and stuff. And so
yeah,
3D printed inserts on it. Yeah.
It can be tricky to find, the setup that works best for you. And then of course, like when we do one, of course we're trying and testing and designing around what works best for us. And then that won't work everywhere. Of course, you go to the southeast portion of the US where, Tennessee and those areas where you got a lot more, loamy soil, and that stuff just can block up a tire so quickly. Or, you go down south and you got red dirt. It's everywhere's different,
Yeah, here on Guam, it's super swampers. They're king. I still don't like them. I don't like the damn tire, but they're king. But I'm telling you right now that the Vanquish tires that you guys came out with and the licensing and everything behind it, it's genius. It's perfect. It's perfect for sending it. It's got enough grip and cushion for it to for you to slow trail and stuff on it. So it's good. Good work on that one. That's awesome.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Any man, Mr. Josh, that's kind of everything that I have. I don't know how much time I have with you, or if I could get you back on a later date or whatever. But that's kind of all the questions and things that I have in the chat. If anybody else has any questions and stuff, or if you would like to share some things, Mr. Josh, that's completely up to you, man.
Oh yeah, I'm had a little bit of a day today to getting some stuff prepped for. I'm gonna try and shoot some video tomorrow throughout the day. And last week I just did like a Sunday vlog-ish style. Just and this Sunday I think I'm gonna do the same thing. So try and hit as many types, and I'm gonna try and I have lofty goals for tomorrow that I can already see that they're going to fail, but I'm gonna try and take a couple of bashers out in the morning early, which that is the hard. I am not I struggle with mornings. So I'm going to try and take bashers to the skate park in the morning. Not my normal thing, but I'm trying to do that first. Then I'm going boating, RC boating.
Cool.
And that's at like 8. So that's a hard time because everyone's going to be there at 8. So like I'm going to be just, but boating at 8 then, and those are like my hard point. And then from there, I'm going to try and just pump out as much other stuff as I can. Started a live or build last night on a new truck, and that's actually going pretty well. So I think I'm going to try and continue and kind of crank along on that today while to be ready for some more work on it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And spend some time in CAD today because that's my favorite thing. And go from there.
Awesome, awesome, man. Well, that's all I have. Thank you very, very much from
Hey, no
Guam,
problem.
from the Guam Bashers. Can we have you say half a day one time? Half a day,
Half a day?
half a day. HAFA space ADAI. Half a day.
Half a day.
Boom, baby. That's it. When you come to Guam, you hit half a day. That's what's up. Thank you very much, Mr. Josh. I would love to have you on again at a later time when or
Yeah,
if you are ready for it. And
no
yeah,
problem. No problem at all. Figure it out. I appreciate the invite. It was fun.
solid. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll try and set up another one. And other than that, that's kind of all that I have. Thank you for your time.
Good stuff. Appreciate it. Thanks again.
Cheers.